CB. I think if any of you are teachers or whatever profession that you may be in, when you know that God's called you to that profession, you want to do that profession. And I know that God's called me to teach and preach, and so I listened to Bob Bowell last night and did call a couple of people, but neither one of them were available. But this is what I do. I love teaching. It's always a challenge. It's always a struggle, but that's prayerfully it comes from God. So I hope you all go with me this morning with my voice. But I did forget one announcement, one of the most important ones. Some of you know that I'm in a new relationship right now, a relationship that happens 4 days a week. And it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 9 o'clock until 2 o'clock. Marty, my new relationship is with Marty. She is the new... Yeah, come on up here, Marty. Marty is our new admin person, and she's coming to us from Third Reform, Center Point. Center Point. I'm still used to calling it Third, I know. Okay. I'm sorry. But she's going to be here, as I say, what days?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, from 9 until 2.
You want to say anything to us this morning? Put you on the spot?
Sure. I never get put on the spot.
Oh, I can tell.
The first thing I wanted to say was I almost didn't recognize you. You clean up really well.
You can go back to your seats.
No, I just would like to say that I'm very, very thankful to be here, and I look forward to meeting you all. I plan to come here to worship like one Sunday a month so that you can put a face with my name, but I will still be at Center Point.
Yep.
But this job was definitely from God. I knew it before these guys did, that it was mine. It just took them a while to catch up, but I'm very, very happy to be here, and I look forward to meeting all of you. But I hope that there's not a test on names too soon.
Not too soon, no. And she does have an open door, so when you come in and see her,
yes.
She's very, very friendly, yeah. So we're glad to have you here with us, Marty. Welcome. I caught some of you when I said I was in a new relationship. Yeah, some of you looked at me like, what are you talking about? Well, last week we started a short little 3-week series on the passage that at marriages is often used for marriage, for weddings, of 1 Corinthians, where it says, 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13. And it says, now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. Well, last week we started with the middle one. We started with the word hope. And the reason why I wanted to start with the word hope is because I love this phrase, and this has been going on in my mind all week long. Hope is the ability to hear the melody of the future. Faith is the courage to dance to it today. Isn't that amazing? Hope is the ability to hear the melody of the future. Faith is the ability to dance to it today. Well, I want us just to think about the word faith this morning. And what is the definition of faith? If we look in the dictionary, the definition is to believe in and to have devotion to something, especially without logical proof. That's sort of funny. Without logical proof. So what the definition of faith in the dictionary says is that all of us who have faith in God and Jesus Christ, we're doing it without logical proof. But it's faith that we have. In the Strong's Greek and the Hebrew dictionary, it says that faith is the conviction of the truth of anything. A conviction or belief respecting our relationship to God. It's a conviction that God exists even though we cannot see God. It's the conviction that Jesus Christ was the Messiah, even though we did not physically see Jesus Christ. So we see those, we hear those definitions of faith. But we also need to realize that faith is also, it deals with us. We can be faithful with each other. Faith deals with the fidelity or the faithfulness that we have to each other. During the praise songs, I recruited Leon to help this morning. So I have a lot of scripture passages. Yeah, so she had a lot of foreknowledge for it. Thank you for doing it. Thank you, CB, for doing both of the prayers this morning. Appreciate you stepping up with your gifts. But we see in the book of Hebrews chapter 1, faith is defined as, right there.
Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see.
So again, it gets into the idea that faith is something that we do not see, but we're hoping for it. Hope is hearing the music of the future. Faith is being able to dance to it today. But then we got to ask the question, where does faith come from? I mean, if it's something that we believe in, and it's really, as I said, without logical proof, where does faith come from? Well, we know that Paul says in Ephesians.
Oh, sorry. That's me.
That's you.
In Ephesians 2, verses 8 and 9, it says, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith." And then also in Romans 10:17, faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word about Christ.
So it says that faith is a gift of God. It's a gift that God gives to us. But also that gift comes as we hear the message about the word of Jesus Christ. I always find it interesting how when Christians tend to talk about the fact that they're struggling with issues and they don't know what to do with issues or don't know where to turn, and I will ask them at times, are you reading the Bible? Are you spending time praying? Are you spending time in worship? You know what the answer most of the time is? No. What does Paul say here in both of these passages? Faith is a gift of God, but it comes as we spend time in His Word. I mean, how can we know what His Word is? How can we know what He's calling us to do within our life if we don't spend time in His Word? So we say, well, we don't have enough faith to do something, but we're not reading His Word. And Paul says that, again, faith comes from.
Faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word about Christ.
So with that, there tends to be at times, there's probably a multitude of reasons why we don't step out in faith, but I just want us to list 4. We're going to look at 4 different reasons. The first one is discouragement.
Discouragement from Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up.
Weariness is failure in heart. It's when we strive to do something well and it doesn't work, and we start to get weary about it. Weariness is when you step up and you actually say, okay, Lord, I'm going to start to tithe. I'm going to give 10% of my income. But the bills keep piling up and you say, God, I thought you were going to bless me if I tithed. We get weary. Weary or discouraged. We get discouraged. Discouragement is when we don't see the hope of the future and we can't dance to it, or we don't hear the melody of the future and we can't dance to it right now because we turned our ears off. You know that song that we sing? Turn your radio. Yeah. How does that go again? Turn your radio. Yeah. You got that? Turn your radio on. Listen to the music in the air. Turn the radio on. You got to have the radio of your heart turned on to hear the melody of the future in order to dance to it today. But too often we don't have the radio on So we get discouraged.